moving pictures. That's what we watch on this show.
That's right.
But if they're shot on film, they're not really moving, are they? Just
No.
a series of still images. There was once upon a time the theory of why we interpret this as motion was called persistence of vision, an idea that an image would stay on the retina for 1/25th of a second. That has since been disproved. And now the process is called motion perception, which is the process of inferring the speed and direction of elements in a scene based on visual, vestibular, and proprioceptive inputs. Thanks, Wikipedia. Basically, your brain fills in the blanks.
Yeah.
And this happens narratively as well. When you see a movie where two guys are in a jail cell and they're like, we got to escape. And the next scene, they're walking out on the street. We know that they escaped from jail.
That's the Jim Jarmusch in Down by Law. He does that. It's like, I have a plan. And then they're running out of a prison.
This brings me to my theory of teleportation. If you could just appear anywhere you want without the telltale nightcrawler BAMF. 1 second you're not there, the next second you're there. I theorize that you could do this in the middle of a crowded street and most people wouldn't even notice because their brain has no idea that such a thing is possible. So they'd just be like, oh, that guy came out of nowhere. Oh, I didn't even see that guy.
Like Agent Smith in The Matrix. People
Sure.
would be like, oh, that's nothing. It's just some guy with glasses on.
Right. And the 1 person out of 100 who actually would see it happen, I think they would find some logical way to dismiss it in their brain because their brain can't handle that much of a weird thing.
That's some heady stuff.
The truth is out there. Teleporting people. And we don't even know.
Because of our little human brains.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good. It might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. This is our 75th episode.
We made it.
What better occasion to kick off May, or as I like to call it, Audience Appreciation Month. Over the years, our audience have submitted hundreds of film ideas for us to watch on our show. Some of them we've seen, some of them we haven't seen, and some of them get suggested over and over again. What better way to appreciate such an attentive and active audience than to take some of these films that have been suggested to us many, many times and finally put these babies to bed. That's what we're going to do in May.
Ooh.
Words cannot even describe tonight's film, so instead, I'll do this. Na 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 na.
Donut, donut.
But it ain't the Phantom of the Opera, it's the Phantom of the Paradise.
Paul Williams, the little man that could.
Released in 1974, directed by Brian De Palma, TPOTP stars William Finley and Paul Williams, the little man that could. This horror musical was a box office flop upon release, though it did receive an Oscar nomination for the music.
Appropriate enough. If you have a phantom writing it, it's going to be good.
But this film was a huge hit in Winnipeg, up there in Canada.
My Winnipeg, or at least
our Winnipeg. This movie was so popular that it played in Winnipeg theaters off and on for the next 3 years. Or so. In 2005, the die-hard Winnipeg fanbase organized Phantom Palooza, a festival that celebrated the film and reunited some of the surviving cast members. Be sure to keep your ears open at the top of the film for the narrator. I think it's a voice you'll recognize. I'm guessing it's going to be a very Rocky Horror type experience.
It's going to be De Palma, so it's going to be visually interesting.
It's supposed to be a lot of fun. I know that you like to have fun. I like to have fun.
Oh! It's a slinky!
A wonderful, wonderful toy.
It's fun for a girl in a phantom.
Come out from behind that curtain and creep on over to the old leather couch with us as we enjoy the musical fantasy known as the Phantom of the Paradise. 20th century? What, did this movie come out 100 years ago?
His past is a mystery, but his work is already a legend.
Picture, if you
Rod
will.
Serling?
Yeah.
Little Eddie Mitty, born in Jersey City.
Shana no. The Juicy Fruits are singing their hearts out on stage.
Check out our fake marquee! Your paint's broken. Watching from above is a dumpy guy. That's Philbin. Philbin's talking to a mysterious person.
Who seems a bit preoccupied with the next act. A young man playing the piano.
Bernie Capel from The Love Boat.
His name is Winslow Leach. The man in the balcony is Swan.
The Swan? Swan who basically invented rock and roll.
Swan seems to think that this fellow's music would be perfect for the opening of the Paradise.
He just doesn't like Winslow Leach.
Look, I scout talent for Swan, and he's interested in your stuff. The Swan?
The one that chased me in the park and pecked at me?
He's like a Harold Ramis, but not so sexy. Swan decides to just steal Leach's music.
He goes to the offices of Death Records, Swan's label, and he's immediately thrown out. He goes to Swan's house and finds out that Swan is auditioning singers for his music. Winslow meets Phoenix, a young girl singer. Her voice is better than all the other voices, and he wants her to sing his music. Tries to get in there, can't get in.
Don't give me a hard time.
I will pull an Altamont on you. There's a group of ladies lounging around on a big bed, and they're sexy.
Does he like blondes? I like blondes.
I like this scene. But one of them, it turns out, is not a lady. It's Winslow dressed in drag. He snuck in.
Get this fag out of here. Mr. Swan, it's me, Winslow. Don't you remember?
That's Swan. He's got no respect for IP, but he's got a lot of respect for T&A. Winslow is removed from the mansion and soundly beaten. A couple of cops come by, and they plant drugs on him at Swan's request.
Smack, Jack.
Do it again. We'll turn it round and round. And Winslow goes to prison.
He's often sing.
In prison, all of his teeth are removed and replaced with metal teeth. 6 months later, Winslow escapes from prison. He goes to Death Records and trashes the place, but he runs afoul of a record press. He gets his head stuck in it, and he's horribly disfigured. He's chased by the police, and he falls into the East River. His body is never recovered, and he is presumed dead.
But he's not.
He goes to the Paradise Theater, he sneaks in, goes into the wardrobe department, gets himself a little outfit to reflect his new personality, and he is now the Phantom of the Paradise.
Come on, you were always Birdman. Swan is opening up the Paradise, and he's working on a musical version of Faust. You know, the story where the guy sells his soul to the devil. This just might come into play later on in the show.
He sees the Juicy Fruits on stage. They're doing a bunch of crap, and he doesn't like them anyway. So he puts a time bomb in one of the set pieces, and it blows up. Winslow catches Swan. He's going to wring him by his tiny little neck, but Swan somehow convinces Winslow to work with him again. And this time, he's not going to screw him over. This time, he's going to treat Winslow right. Right? Yeah, of course he is.
Trust me.
It's like Neil Young's Trans. He could easily reinvent himself as like a glam Captain Beefheart.
Don't worry, we'll just auto-tune you until you're right.
V-necks?
Here's the contract. Everything I've said and more is in it.
It's the end more that will work in my favor.
Party of the first part gives the party of the second part.
No, that part is no good. Well, we'll just get rid of it then.
Oh, that's a transportation clause.
You cannot fool me. I know there's no transportation clause. Well, I'm going to contact my lawyer, who is also disfigured, and have him look this over. Winslow's a little naive. He signs it in blood.
Together. Forever.
Together forever and ever too far.
You will not rickroll this program. Swan finally gives Phoenix an audition.
Swan here. I want you to answer a question for me.
What has four legs? I'm not Karen Allen, and I'm not Karen Black. I'm the girl you hire when you can't get them.
And she kills it. She's hired on the spot.
We're gonna hire Phoenix, but Leach, why don't you go into the secret cell that I have and write a bunch more songs?
What type of musician or band should sing this new music that Winslow is writing? He decides on Beef. It's what's for dinner and for rocking out to. Beef is like a glam rocker.
Man, you better get yourself a castrato for this, because it's a little out of my range.
Winslow's been up for days and days. He's been feverishly writing. He's at the end of his endurance.
This is how Paul Williams wrote all of his songs. Love Boat Theme, Three's Company, Rainbow Connection.
He's all passed out. Swan goes in, he steals the music away, and he tells his cronies,
Seal it now.
wait, throw in a couple bottles of Amontillado for him. He bursts through the brick wall, and once again, he's loose in the paradise.
What does this remind me of? This scene. Oh, High Anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever seen music again. Not here. My music is for Phoenix.
If you sing my music, you're gonna die. Beef tries to leave. Run away, Beef!
I mean, the karma's so thick around here, you need an aqua lung to breathe.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Philbin doesn't let that happen, and Beef is forced to take the stage anyway. There's a fantastic goth rock number. Beef is like a Frankenstein rocker. I have to say, this is a pretty great show. Winslow keeps to his promise.
He kills Beef. But the show must go on.
Who could possibly calm this angry crowd? Phoenix, who sounds kind of like Anne Murray.
Yep.
The rock kids love this stuff.
That's what turned on the people in Winnipeg so much. Anne Murray's a Canadian. And the crowd goes wild. Not like Beef levels of going wild, but, you know, still pretty intense.
You can call me Lady Beef.
Now Phoenix is the star. Bop, 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 bop. She's about to be swept off to Swan's mansion, where she's going to sign away her soul, too.
But before he can do that, the Phantom takes Phoenix aside and he says,
Phoenix, leave this place or I'll destroy you too.
sorry, all I hear is...
Get your hands off me!
Plunger. Give her the plunger.
And so she goes off to Swan's mansion. The Phantom follows, and he looks through the skylight down to Swan's big circle bed, and it's Phoenix. And they're doing the sex thing.
Winslow is so despondent, he stabs himself in the chest and dies. Or does he? Swan goes up to that roof, and he says, ho ho,
You gave up your right to rest in peace when you signed this contract.
you don't die until I die.
You might say we terminate together.
Winslow stabs Swan with the knife, and Swan's like, you can't kill me.
I'm under contract too.
Winslow goes and he finds the archives of all of the videotapes.
And he finds the tape of when Swan signed his contract with a certain underworld somebody who I think you know.
I guess you're supposed to be the devil.
I go by many names.
Sign your soul away to me, and then you can be young forever. And this is exactly what happens.
This picture gets old instead of me. Yes.
Swan, he's gonna kill her on national television.
An assassination live on television, coast to coast. That's entertainment.
If he burns the videotape, this will make Swan age really fast, like Picture of Dorian Gray.
He sees that there's a sniper up in the balcony, so Winslow rushes up there, he grabs the gun, so Phoenix doesn't get killed. He does the old Phantom of the Opera swing down onto the stage, pulls off Swan's mask, and we see that Swan's face is all bubbly and gross.
Swan ages super fast. The Phantom kills Swan with a bunch of beaks.
That stab wound in his chest now opens up again because now Swan is dead. And finally, Winslow's mask comes off and we see his disfigured face.
Sloth love junk. Phoenix recognizes him, and she goes and holds him as he dies.
Damn, what a tragedy. But a spectacular one. The Phantom of the Paradise. Man, he got around.
Swan got around with multiple women on the same bed.
That's right. The Phantom got a raw deal.
Yes, he did, and a raw face. Give me another one.
That Phantom lurked everywhere.
And he lurked bad as well.
The obvious heir to this film is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Mm-hmm. When did that come out?
That came out in 1975.
So they're too close together, really, for one to be influenced by the other, don't you think?
No, the stage show Rocky Horror was no doubt playing well before this.
Oh, because it was a stage thing before it was a movie.
Yes, the Rocky Horror Show.
So this was influenced by that.
Yeah. Which do you prefer? I know you're not the biggest fan of Rocky Horror.
I haven't seen Rocky Horror in 20 years.
Yeah.
This I liked quite a bit, so I guess maybe I would say I prefer this.
I prefer Rocky Horror, I think.
Why is that?
It's funnier.
The songs are better.
The songs are a lot better,
yeah.
And Rocky Horror loses it in the third act, but...
This is more of a satire, sort of like how corrupt the music industry is. This one is darker. Mm-hmm. This really is a pastiche of a lot of different influences. We have Hitchcock, Edgar Allan Poe, Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera,
Dr. Caligari.
Sure. Even Halloween, which I think came out after this.
It came out 5 years after this.
It echoed in the slasher movies of the early 80s.
Yes.
Touch of Evil, that's another influence.
Oh, man, that was the best sequence in the movie. I want to go back and watch that just...
Because they did trick us.
That was great misdirection. I was not looking at the left side of the screen at all.
Me neither. That is a testament to Brian De Palma's abilities as a director.
Yeah. A favorite theme of De Palma is voyeurism, and that's the thing that really shows up in this movie.
Well, looking through security cameras and seeing key plot points.
I did not like Paul Williams as that role.
He's not a bad actor.
Is he a good choice for this movie?
He looks quite impish.
Yes, he does.
The way he carries himself and the fact that he is so physically small is just an interesting counterpoint to the power that he wields and how all of these people who tower over him are his servants. I think it's definitely an interesting and a dangerous choice, and that's one of the things that really makes this movie stand out.
Yes, and Swan is obviously a Phil Spector figure, who is also a short record producer, one of the most important guys in the history of rock and roll.
One of the most manipulative guys.
Manipulative. He has this creepy mansion, and he lures women back there and does horrible things.
The thing I liked least about the movie was Phoenix. It was not plausible that she was this person who could whip a crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah.
It's just like her average, nice singing.
But this is always a problem with movies. Whenever you have someone who's called a genius, it's so rare that they're actually that good once they present their genius.
Well, that's where suspension of disbelief comes in.
But that's a very hard thing to pull off. That's why you should only make movies about mediocre artists.
I'm not sure that's a good takeaway for this, but no, okay.
One thing from this movie that I really wish did exist, Death Records. They had such an amazing logo, that dead bird. That's a record company I would buy anything from right there. What's with the birds? Swan, Phoenix, the Death Records, the bird thing, the women going around with the beaks. The beaks are what eventually kill Paul Williams. And, of course, the Phantom is dressed up as Birdman.
Yeah, birds are predatory, birds are beautiful.
Birds sing. I don't know. Makes about as much sense as in the movie Footloose. Everyone has bird names. Wren, Ariel.
The music in this was okay. The soundtrack was certified gold in Canada, where the people of Winnipeg just ate it up. They love everything about this movie.
Winnipeg, explain. I know it's a dark city. I know it's cold a lot of the time. You have other options.
Oh, they like this one.
They like this one. Good on you.
I'm sure they like other movies. They watch Atom Egoyan and things like that.
Guy Madden, he's from Winnipeg.
What's his face? The guy you really like.
Don McKellar?
Don McKellar, yeah. This movie has all of the qualities of a great cult movie. It's kind of a textbook cult movie. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that really appealed to me, because whenever you watch a truly great cult movie, you're seeing something that is sort of in a league all by itself. It's going to present you with things you've never seen before and you'll never see again.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on The Phantom of the Paradise.
I will be haunted by a metal bird man and a short blonde leprechaun.
Thanks for joining us for Phantom of the Paradise. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you rocked out a little. And, don't take advantage of musicians, because they will come back and get you. Hey there, all you phantoms out there. Why don't you come haunt our website, welcometothebasementshow.com. You can see all of our episodes, every one of them. They're all right there. And there's a PayPal donation button. You can donate a few dollars to support our show. Our show is viewer supported, and anything that you contribute really helps us out.
Has anyone done this recently?
Absolutely. Moritz, who says, best show on YouTube that I know of. Philip, Ryan, Brant, you guys have kindled my interest in watching older and silent films. Alexander, Brian, Mitchell, check out my new blog, fcpremitch.wordpress.com. All right. Jeff, you're my favorite everything. Robert, Owen, Jan, who says thank you for many great episodes, and skål to many more. Skål.
Skål.
Joel, who says me and my brother started watching movies we've never seen. Brazil was great, but Easy Rider made no sense.
Oh.
Could be a generational thing.
Yeah.
And Jacob says, my best friend Scott is a Russian major and just spent a semester abroad in Russia. I would love for you guys to wish him a safe trip home. Scott, travel safely, buddy.
Do svidaniya.
We have another comment here from one of our viewers, Ed Morone, who says, it was so great to see you talk about the movie Catch-22. My good friend, who is also my old acting coach back in New York, John Corks, played Snowden.
Really?
I sent him the link to that episode for him to check out. Well, if he checks it out and gets back to you, we'd love to hear what he thought. I'm going to open up our mailbag this week. We got some more postcards. 2 from Paul and Amy of Vintage Theaters. We got another one from Michael U.S. Bonds. And all the way from Australia, we got a big box of DVDs.
What? The what?
This is from Steven, and he says, thanks for the entertainment. Here's hoping I can return the favor with some flicks from Dan Under. Maybe I've seen these, maybe I haven't. I'm not saying, because who knows what'll happen with them. But thank you, Steven. And now, it's time for Seen It.
Yes, complete. It's complete.
John Hitchcock writes, have you guys seen The Hurt Locker? I would argue it's Catherine Bigelow's best film. Seen it.
Seen it.
I watched this film while my nephew was doing a tour of duty in Iraq, so it had a whole other level of nerve-wrackedness for me.
Yeah, it hits you probably late at night after you turn off the lights. Like, oh, I hope he's okay.
It's an interesting take on war. You look at something like Catch-22, where all this guy wants to do is get out of the war, and then Jeremy Renner's character in The Hurt Locker, once he gets out of the war, all he wants to do is get back in. Because standing around the cereal aisle is boring.
Yes. Dylan Bowman 11 asks, you guys have seen Kill Bill Volumes 1 and 2, right? My parents hated them for some reason. What do you guys think? Seen it.
Shing! Shing! Seen it.
Your parents are probably good parents, but they're wrong on Kill Bill. I love that movie. I just the other night caught the last hour or so of Kill Bill, and what I love about it is how emotional the ending is. When the big reveal happens and you find out what Bill has been holding for these last few years,
sure.
It's heartbreaking. It's one thing to say women are tough and they can fight, but also at the same time to have her be a fully rounded character with things beyond the fighting that matter to her.
Thomas Fireheart writes, I'd like to get your thoughts on To Kill a Mockingbird. Honestly, I thought the movie was kind of boring. I can handle movies with slow paces, but to me the movie just seemed to go on forever. Seen it.
Seen it.
This is one of the movies that my high school teacher, Mr. Hughes, showed us in class. He liked to show us movies, so he didn't have to teach. I think you could probably give the movie another shot in 5 or 10 years, and you might change your mind on it.
Yeah.
It has the pace of a novel, because it was based on a novel, but it's really well acted, well cast, and it just has great moments.
All the way up to the end when Boo Radley comes out and it's good old consigliere Robert Duvall, a rascal old coot that he is now. He used to be a very quiet man who lived down the block.
Stab you with a scissor.
No matter how many times I see it, stand up child, your father's passing. God, that moment is what movies are all about.
Gregory Peck is... Can't not watch a movie with Gregory Peck. Burp, burp, burp.
Cheesecake Sauna writes, I personally don't watch many movies, but have seen the 1998 comedy drama Pleasantville. Don't ask me about any stars, but I do know it has Don Knotts, sadly not doing a single double take. Seen it.
Seen it!
I'm surprised I kept watching movies after Pleasantville 2. I'm not a fan of that movie. It's a movie that was made entirely to show off the fact that you can make things colored in black and white in the same scene, which was done 5 years earlier in Schindler's List to much more powerful effect. I do not like this movie. I don't think Tobey Maguire's rosy view of the past is good, and I don't think that Reese Witherspoon's jaded view of the present is good. I just don't like anything about that movie.
Well, you have very strong feelings about Pleasantville. I have very dim and hazy memories of Pleasantville, and we'll probably just leave it at that.
Yes. Well, that's Seen It.
And that's our show. Thanks for joining us for all the horror and spectacle of the Phantom of the Paradise. We hope you had a good time. We hope you weren't too scared, and we hope that your face doesn't have any accidents. Join us next time where we'll be watching another movie that our viewers have suggested over and over and over again. You can tell us what you think that movie's going to be. And hey, Craig, you can play along too.
Oh, I am in my head right now.
Next time we'll see if Craig is the prognosticator that he fancies himself to be.
I certainly hope I'm not.
Check out our website. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Now, my cantata needs something really heavy.
Have a sleep, I hear a voice, I hear a voice.
The Guess Who? It's the Roaches.
But I let them in.
Towns Van Zandt.
Yep.
They disturb me.
Staples Singers.
Yep.
Come together in me.
Mark Bolan.
You better get yourself a castrato for this, because it's a little out of my range.